What's going on, guys? It's Ephraim Enders back at it again with another episode. So, Mexico or champs? I mean, like what we predicted, nothing crazy. At this point in the Club World Cup, we got the two finalists. We got PSG and we got Chelsea, which is what you predicted, no?
I actually predicted Fluminense, so that's
Oh, you got one part of the, and I got the other. I got Chelsea,
yeah.
but yeah, PSG, Real Madrid. I mean, uh, we'll talk about that in a bit. I think we should start with Mexico game first, just because it did happen first. And what a celebration, you know? All the players look good. Mora, the youngster, giving the little cheeky assist, and at only 16 years of age, looking really promising, man. And I like the way he plays. I like the way he's got the close control. He's good, got good dribbling, good decision making. I hope uh I hope he just keeps going up, man. Send that
Yeah.
boy to Europe.
Yeah. He didn't get an assist against
I thought he
Mexico.
did.
He got the assist against Honduras.
Oh, against Honduras.
Yeah, yeah, but still, crack. Each game he just kind of gets more confident. I think that first game he was very nervous, but he didn't mess up. But he was just, you could tell he was like shy about it.
Hmm.
He was immediately giving off the ball. The second game against Honduras, you would see he would kind of get the ball. He'd start dribbling. Against USA, he started taking shots. So this guy's really growing. He's starting to show his personality. And yeah, I think it is time for him to go to Europe. He's 16. You could say, he could develop a little bit more in Mexico. Um, to each their own. I mean, if he sees himself in Europe, I think give him the opportunity and he should go.
Yeah, there's a idea of him going to Europe, 16. You start introducing him into some game time. There's also, I feel like, the idea of, right, you wait it out. You give him one more year in Cholos. Next year's a World Cup. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the Mexico team. He does, which I would hope, outstanding in the World Cup. Get some more eyes on him. After the World Cup, you kind of get that, that World Cup
Price tag.
price tag and maybe get, signed on by a better team than if you were to get signed up right now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think what you're kind of trying to say is he doesn't have the most eyes on him. Obviously, after a World Cup, he'll have more eyes on him. Get more of a more
Hmm.
hype around him. I think that in Cholo's eyes, you could think, well, let me just keep him on for one more season, and then after the World Cup, we'll sell him at a bigger price tag. But in my eyes, I think
It's not even about the price tag. It's just
better team
better team are gonna have
not
the eyes
getting
at the
into a
World Cup.
contract. I think I don't think that's a big deal for him right now because okay, Cholos could still win in this situation by selling him and retaining like 50% or a percentage of his
Hmm.
contract if they sell him to like a feeder team like an Anderlecht, a team from the Dutch league, the
Yeah.
smaller leagues, the farmer leagues you could call them. I think that Cholos could still and Gilberto Mora could still benefit from that. Because he'll definitely get sold in Europe. They sell. They
Yeah.
don't really care. They don't have like in Mexican, like in the Liga MX, they tend to hold back on selling players. But there's leagues out there that if you give them $1 more than what they paid for them, they'll sell them to you more than likely. So who knows? I think it's more how does he see himself? How does his parents see himself? His dad was a professional soccer player, so he's really developed him really well. So I'm sure he has some say in this. And I think he has the same agent as Santi Jimenez. So who knows? Santi Jimenez went pretty young without having that much of hype around him when
Yeah.
he left. I remember when he left, he just won the league and he was like he barely became the striker for Cruz Azul. They won the league and then he left. And I personally at that time I was like I don't understand it, but he left and he did great things.
Mm.
So sometimes agents really help. Same thing with Mateo Chavez. He had a good agent. Uh, barely got that position locked down for Chivas and,
Already
left.
out.
So we'll see what happens with Mora.
Could be the same thing. I mean,
Could,
I feel like it also wouldn't hurt if he does go now, just because, let's say he does do good in the World Cup, at least he has some European
experience.
experience to kind of help him do that much better.
it would solidify his case more. Like he's not just like this player
yeah.
who did a good
And then
tournament.
if bigger teams do see him, they're like, oh, he's already in Europe, like it's only gonna make them. Now he's gonna be seen by uh, some bigger teams,
Definitely.
and they got the money to splurge if he does go to like a really like you said, an Anderlecht or Dutch team that's could give him just that experience and wouldn't be that expensive to buy it from him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess all in all, having a 16-year-old Mexican who's playing for Mexico and doing good things.
Youngest player to win the trophy with the national team,
Yeah.
beating
Uh,
Lamine Yamal. So I mean, these are recent records, and look at Lamine Yamal. He's obviously harder leagues, harder national teams, but it's still a record. Something to
yeah.
be proud of. What were you doing at 16? I can't tell you what I was doing at 16, but
Could have been some inappropriate stuff. But what I was trying to get at is, the fact that we have a 16-year-old who's doing big things kind of speaks for the progression that we're hopefully seeing, kind of being culminated in this game that we saw. Of course, you could say, it was a B team from the US, but this was a pretty easy game. I mean, Mexico has kind of struggled this tournament, not so much like struggled as far as like, are we gonna lose, but more so like struggling in the way that they should have blown out all of these teams. Like these teams did not compete against them, yet Mexico kind of let them
Mhm.
live a little bit longer than they had to. This USA team kind of caught Mexico sleeping in those first 3 minutes, got a goal, but after that showed no signs of really ever coming back into the game. They had the one-off chances that they would get counters because Mexico was pushing up too much bodies just because they were controlling the game. Mexico was, kind of loose with their defensive duties, and they would exploit their physicality with Aguiman getting in and pushing around Montes and finding space at times.
Mhm.
But overall, I think that this game was kind of a done deal since the beginning, really.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about that game?
Yeah, there was a case for a handball, which I don't think I've heard a lot of people saying that it was a handball, mostly people from the US side, nobody on the Mexico side. As
Well,
far as the penalty, he's falling, he can't do anything about it. Nobody else is around him. He's not avoiding or denying a possibility of a goal. It is what it is.
there's that same play happened in a game with Arsenal versus Liverpool,
With
or
Odegaard.
Odegaard, where he's kind of falling, he has his hand on the ground, but I mean, same reason goes to that. I mean, you're falling, it's your hands in a natural position. Like, are you just supposed to let yourself fall and get hurt, or you let the play go on? So it was just another case of those, but I don't know. I feel like USA fans just looking for anything to pull on, and
Yeah, because they had a bad game. I mean, realistically speaking, they had no real concrete opportunities. They didn't control the game at any point, and they're hurt. They lost the final for you know,
mhm.
so they're obviously gonna be grasping at straws. Moving on though, we got the Club World Cup. Interesting games. You want to start off with the Chelsea Fluminense game,
Chelsea, Fluminense.
which is a lot closer than the.
Debut from João Pedro. Two
Mhm.
really good goals on his boyhood team. And, pretty good goals, to be honest.
They were bangers.
Pretty good goals. And, I mean, it's unfortunate you have to do it to your team. I mean, imagine joining a big team and you got to score goals to knock out Chivas. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Because that situation, it's not like, oh, he scored a tap and Nick. He scored bangers. Like you want to celebrate those goals,
yeah.
but
And
then
to
in
get
the
you to the final, too. It's
yeah,
not like,
so it's like a big
not a
moment.
friendly.
It's your first start for your new team that you
Mhm.
really want to impress. So of course,
But respect. Aura farming, it's fine. I get it. Nah, but you got to do it, and then that's what he did. And honestly, Jackson is nervous right now. He's shivering in his boots.
yeah, I think he lost his spot. Liam Delap also. I mean, it's good competition. That's what Chelsea kind of. I guess that's their new identity is just having depth in
Yeah,
squad and being able to pull from whoever's doing the best at the moment. I think that it could bite them in the butt when they have situations where uh, you're killing momentum and stuff, and or on the opposite side, you have all these players on the bench rotting away who are never going to play because this other player is doing so good. So we'll see what kind of happens there.
I feel like they all have
Chelsea,
different, style of play.
Yeah.
And against certain teams, you might want someone who, let's say they go with pace, so towards the last second half, they realize, they need someone, the defense is tired. You just throw in Jackson just for that pace, just create danger. Delap, I feel like, put him in the box, you might get something out of it. So they have Joe Pesci's more technical on the ball, I feel like. So all those different style of plays, can work against different opponents. Just understanding the way they play, the way the opponent plays. Maresca could be cooking because, that is three strikers who have previously all been starters, fighting for the one spot. Unless he starts playing with two strikers, which I doubt. I'm pretty sure he's been going to continue playing with that, 4-3-3 lineup.
Hmm.
Then, but just having that diversity and being able to put in, almost like Arne Slot did with his players, just throwing them in when certain things weren't going his way, came in second half, did some adjustments. All right, go in, win the game. So being able to adapt within games is a huge win. I mean, I think it's pretty much what got Liverpool the title. So having that depth can only help them. But like you said, some players can get very emotional about not playing, and it could cause a downfall. But I mean, for them, they're trying to hope for just more competition and increase just the expectations out of their players.
Yeah, definitely. If you wanna start, it's not just
It's not going to
you.
be easy.
It's not just a guaranteed position. So that'll be interesting. But then again, on the other side of it, I mean, they're so busy in the transfer window that it could get tricky when let's say a winger's not doing so well, and like in the case of like, they had Sancho and Madueke. Sancho was on a loan. Madueke looks like he's leaving. They also have Nkunku, players like this that got benched by Neto, Palmer. Um, what happens when these players, want to say, you know what, I'm getting paid well here, I'm not going to leave. That could become in a situation in the future where they want to replace them, but obviously when they're dealing with
Mhm.
the FFA rules, they can't buy until they sell a certain amount. So I mean, we'll see. It's an experiment. I don't think it's really been done yet. Um, but I mean, it worked. They got Champions League this season. They're slowly getting back
Uh,
into that top four. And they proved it. They're in the World Cup final now. Granted, they had a more easier route playing just Brazilian teams on the way up, essentially, and having a really easy group. But I mean, the game's a game. You play it, you win, and you get the rewards for it. And I mean, these Brazilian teams actually had a good tournament, so you can't really be saying that they're easy
yeah,
opponents.
we'll
But
give them their respect. They gave it their all.
on the flip side, we had a blowout of dramatic proportions. PSG, Real Madrid.
Oh my God, bro. I was watching
Yeah,
that game and I mean, the first two goals are just, mistakes on Real Madrid's
yeah,
defense from each center back. So you can't even point at just one. I think Rudiger's was, I mean, that's just, never happens. It was an accident. Hit the other foot, hit the other one. Um, Asensio, I mean, as a center back, when you're trying to clear the ball, you're not going to have time to look up, so you're going to give it to.
yeah.
He looks up, and that instant that Bentley comes, and then, I feel like you got to try to do something, cover the ball strong. He tries to just toe poke it. Dembele wins a 50-50 goal. But it's little, those are like very elementary things that as a center back, you just got to do it. There's certain rules in the world of soccer. Like you never kick into the middle when you're clearing the ball. You always want to block the inside. There's certain things like that. That was one of those where it's just like you should
You should know better.
understand. If it's right there, get that ball out of there, bro. I know if I was there, boot it. You don't want it anywhere near there. All right, they got one goal. Rudiger, unfortunate, another goal. But really, I mean, Madrid was just looking. Their touch was not there. PSG was all over them. But yeah, I thought Real Madrid was going to come in a little bit better. They lose two players. You lose Trent. You lose Hoyson. Mbappe gets a start. So it is a whole new lineup. But it was like every man for themselves. Vinny would try to just do one-on-ones. Mbappe, try to do a carry job. Bellingham every now and they would try to do, they were getting desperate. And PSG do what they do best. That high press, dangerous football. They just look so fluid. It looked like another day for him. They're scary right now. But yeah, it was not good for the Madrid boys. at all.
Yeah, I think what today's game, since we're recording the day that it happened, today's game was a big kind of wake up call for Real Madrid, letting them know, hey, you got to do maybe some more business in the transfer window. Maybe start looking at what fits Xabi Alonso's system. What kind of idea he wants to really impregnate into the squad. This PSG team is just it's a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. They have such a good high press. I mean, that's what caused the essentially the first two goals, and then just being not letting the opposition breathe and not giving them the opportunity to think was really what
Hmm.
has allowed them to do so well. And they're not just an offensive team; they're also a defensive. Like they don't receive goals. In this tournament, they've only received one goal against Botafogo. Um, you know, that was kind of like a
Damn, that's
random
insane.
random game that happened when they lost to Botafogo. So, yeah, all in all, this PSG team is just built and they're solid, and I don't know who could beat them because it's not like, they're close games, but they're barely getting through with the win. No, they're winning these games, not receiving any goals, beating Atletico Madrid 4-0, beating Bayern 2-0, Real Madrid 4-0, and they're going to beat Chelsea 10-0. Like that's just the way it's going to happen. This PSG team is really good. They're they're ready for it, and Enzo Maresca is complaining about, playing too many games
Oh
while
my
PSG's
God.
worrying about you know,
Hmm.
how many goals, who after they could get the whole squad to get a goal. This team's good, and it is what it is.
I mean, we'll give it to Madrid because, like you said, this is a well refined machine PSG have made. Obviously, they didn't start the season like this.
Hmm.
And this is a Real Madrid, new manager, new players. They're trying to figure out what works. Obviously, they're not going to be the best, and they're not going to be expected to beat this Champions League winners, well refined. They know how to work with each other. So we'll give them that. But it just goes to show just how strong PSG is. And Vitinha, man. Vitinha just runs that midfield like he's like a metronome. He just controls the whole game. And he'll do like a simple look to the right, pretend like he's on the pass, scroll to the left, and you see three players all go to the right, and then just leaves this whole left side open. Little movements like that just he knows what he's doing. He's just holding the ball, controlling everything. Very under what's the word? Underappreciated, I feel like. People are starting to be aware of Vitinha. It's like, how much he really means to the team. And the Portugal boys too. There was like four players in PSG who are all for Portugal, and they've just been
Yeah, Nuno Mendes, Joao Neves, Vitinha, and then Gonzalo Ramos.
yeah, and they've been winning everything, you
Uh,
know.
it's a new
So
wave. Get on it.
Portugal's looking good. They're
We're
looking
taking the
strong.
World Cup.
Yeah, with Ronaldo right there, just the leader.
Yeah,
But I mean, next year it's gonna be a good season.
it's gonna be a good season because of the World Cup. I think it's gonna give that extra motivation to every single player because it's gonna be a big tournament. It's not only, typically it's always been a 32 team tournament. I think now it's 48. So we're gonna see a lot more countries in there, countries in Europe that, have that one good player. Like for example, Norway.
Norway, Holland, Odegaard,
Well, Holland, Odegaard, and they got actually a lot more players than that now that
Norgard.
they've been developing more. But we're gonna see teams like that, maybe even Georgia, Albania, teams like that we see in the Euros that are finally gonna play a World Cup.
Hmm.
Hopefully, countries like Guatemala, just because I love Guatemala right now. I'm on that. I'm on that. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen this next season. Of course, lots of transfers are definitely going to be happening this season, just because you know PSG has just been destroying all these teams that teams are definitely going to start to fear that, and they're going to want to make some changes to in order to compete with them. Real Madrid, I think, is the number one team that I see really. Hopefully, I say hopefully. I mean, who knows what happens really, but hopefully they do stuff because to lose 4-0, um, I mean, that's just not good enough. That's not Real Madrid. So we're hopefully going to see some changes. I think the big plus though for Real Madrid is that we saw Militao get some minutes,
And
and
when
he
he
did.
came in, he looked good.
Yeah, he looked
He
like he
looked
had
really
a
solid. He was probably like, as soon as he came into, Real Madrid was having no chances. They do a corner, he gets a header, it goes nearly off. And that was probably the closest chance I remember them having. And for Militao, who's a center back, to have one of the better chances is just, and he was defensively on top of it. He was blocking passes, crosses. He's good to see him back for sure.
Yeah, so when you see two defensive errors and you just recovered a center back who actually did decent coming in, and then you know that you have Dean Huijsen who's already proved himself that he could hold it.
Who would he start if he plays two center backs?
If he plays two center backs, I like Dean Huijsen just because he has that touch and he has that way of just
Hmm.
creating that tempo
Composure.
and
That's what I like
composure.
about him.
On the other side, Rudiger can be a little bit lackluster, a little bit, heavy-footed, and he might put in a tackle when he doesn't have to. But that's also a plus because he will put in the tackle when
Yeah.
nobody else thinks about it. I like Militao a lot, but he's been injured for a long, long time. I think he just had two ACLs, like back to
Hmm.
back. So it's tricky. We'll see how he comes in. I mean, today he did good, but we'll see what happens throughout the course of this season. Hopefully he's ready, and that would be great. But yeah, we'll see if he even wants to play two in the back. If he wants to put three in the back, who knows? I think a left back is needed.
Did they just buy one?
No, they just got Trent and Hoyson.
Thought they got one.
Nah.
Oh, they were working on one and they never bought them. But
Yeah, so I'd like to see what happens there. Me personally, I've been thinking Grimaldo just because of his past with Xabi Alonso. Grimaldo did come out of Barca though, so who knows if he wants to. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's Real Madrid. I mean, I don't know how it is over there.
it's your old boss.
It's your old boss. You know that you fit that system. You know that you could probably do big things there. And if Barca's not interested in you, might as well, right?
Hmm.
So who knows what happens there. My biggest thing is what's gonna happen with Rodrigo. It's been the tail of the transfer window.
He didn't play at all.
He didn't play at all. I think he's on the way out. He doesn't fit. Maybe he doesn't fit Xabi Alonso's system. Maybe he just doesn't like the idea of having a righty on the right side. He wants someone to cut in and shoot. So who knows? Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he preferred Brahim Diaz over Rodrigo today, and Arda Güler throughout the whole tournament. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm sure once stuff starts to become official, we'll talk about it here and discuss it.
Yeah, we'll get more into transfers in upcoming episodes. We got the final. Might live stream the final. Who knows? Probably get some viewers out of it just going through streams. Who knows? It'd be nice to watch the final. Eventually get to be able to be live with you guys and chat. But yeah, expect more episodes. And I mean that's it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. Any ideas? We're always open to ideas, new ideas, switching it up, changing it up, different topics to talk about. But other than that, I mean, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.